Growing up in Brownsville, Brooklyn during the 1970s was tough for anyone, but it was especially hard for a young Mike Tyson. Long before he became a world-famous heavyweight champion, he was just a 10-year-old kid trying to survive in a rough neighborhood. He was overweight, painfully shy, wore thick glasses, and spoke with a noticeable lisp. Because he was so quiet and easily intimidated, the local gangs and older kids constantly picked on him. They would steal his lunch money, take his sneakers, and beat him up knowing he would never fight back. For young Mike, stepping outside his front door meant stepping into a world of fear. Looking for an escape from the constant bullying on the streets, Tyson found a safe place high above the city. He started spending his time on the roofs of nearby apartment buildings where he discovered a deep love for pigeons. He began raising and caring for them, spending any spare change he could find on bird feed and building wooden coops. Up on the roof, the rough streets of Brooklyn felt miles away. The pigeons became his closest companions. They didn't care about his lisp or his weight, and they gave him a sense of responsibility and peace that he couldn't find anywhere else. His peaceful escape, however, didn't last forever. One afternoon, an older and much bigger neighborhood bully named Gary Flowers decided to mess with Tyson. Gary was known for being mean, and he knew Tyson was an easy target who never defended himself. Gary followed Tyson up to the roof where the pigeon coops were kept. He wasn't there to steal money. He just wanted to show off and be cruel. Without warning, Gary reached into the wooden cage and grabbed one of Tyson's favorite pigeons. Tyson was absolutely terrified. His heart pounded, and the familiar fear that always kept him paralyzed took over. He pleaded with the older boy to leave the bird alone and just let it go. But Gary just laughed at him. To show how tough he was and to completely break Tyson's spirit, Gary did the unthinkable. He grabbed the pigeon and ripped its head off right in front of Tyson's eyes. To add insult to injury, he threw the lifeless, bloody bird directly into the crying 10-year-old's chest. In that exact second, something fundamental shifted inside Mike Tyson. The overwhelming sadness of watching his beloved pet die was instantly replaced by a blinding, uncontrollable anger. All the years of being pushed around, laughed at, and living in fear suddenly boiled over. He didn't run away and he didn't freeze. Instead, Tyson charged at the much larger boy. He had never been in a real fight and had never thrown a punch in his life, but he just started swinging wildly with everything he had. He hit the older boy over and over again, completely overwhelming him. The kids from the neighborhood who had gathered around expecting to see Tyson get humiliated were left in absolute shock as they watched him beat the bully to the ground. When the fight was finally over, Tyson stood there breathing heavily, his knuckles bruised. He carefully picked up the body of his pigeon and held it close. As he walked off that roof, the scared little boy was gone. Tyson had just realized that he possessed incredible physical power and that his hands could protect him. That single heartbreaking moment forced him to stand up for himself for the first time, setting him on the path that would eventually lead him to greatness in the boxing ring.